Anthony Hartwig here with episode 2 of Coach's Corner with Poland head coach of the girls' side, Nick Blanch. Nick, thanks for joining us and welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me.
All right, the first time we talked to you, it was a season preview, of course. And, previews, you never know exactly what you're going to get. You have hopes of what you're going to get, you have expectations. But now here we are, a handful of games in the season. So the first question is, how have the first couple of weeks compared to back when we talked to you, what your expectations were?
Exactly what I had hoped for. A bunch of hardworking kids coming together and getting better as each day passes, and we are doing that. Girls are sticking together. I always preach attitude and effort. Those are the two things we talk about the most in here. Have a good attitude, always put forth a good effort, and whatever happens, happens. We'll live with it. And they've been doing that. They show up. We got 5 great seniors leading the way. And like I said, just really excited with what's going on here. Has not disappointed in the least.
So I'm not going to have you break down every game that you've played. We'd be here for an hour, but I do want to go back to the season opener because season openers are always kind of special. Like I said, you don't know exactly what you're going to get when you put your team out on the floor. You've been scrimmaging, you've been playing against yourselves. What kind of things did you look for in that season opener, and what kind of things did you see that really made you even more confident in what this team could do this year?
Well, there was a lot going into that first game, which there normally is, but this year even more so with having 7 soccer girls coming back like a week and a half prior to that from their regional run. And then we went on and played Fitch. And thankfully, we were at home, kind of calm some of the nerves down. But that was our first game. That was their second game. And so they had already worked through some of those things. And we got off to that nervous start. Girls were playing hard. We just couldn't get a shot to fall in the first quarter. We were 2 for 8 from the free throw line in the first quarter during that game. Missed a bunch of shots we normally would put in, and ended up working ourselves into a 14-point deficit. And then slowly but surely chipped away at it, got ourselves back into it, and was fortunate enough to pull that off against a very good Austintown Fitch team. Big boost for us, but are also showed us what kind of team we had. Very resilient, dealing with adversity very well, not quitting when things got tough. The bench kept going for one another, and the kids on the floor never packed it in. So saw a lot that game and just confirmed what I believe we had, and just very pleased that we were able to pull that off. But even if we wouldn't have pulled it off, I told the kids I was still very proud of their effort for never giving up and playing a full 4 quarters. So, we're just one day at a time, but that was more nerve-wracking than normal with that late arrival of so many kids and trying to piece it all together.
Did you learn anything new from that first game that you didn't know going into it? Or maybe something like you said, okay, maybe we need to work on this a little bit more than I thought, or maybe we don't need to work on this as much as I thought, things like that?
Yeah, in the beginning of the season, even now, a couple weeks in, we're still have to work on everything. I mean, we're not perfect at anything by any means, but I did realize, depth wise, who can do what in what situation and things of that sort in the pressure situation, and who was more comfortable, who we needed to work certain things on, those kind of things I did. But as far as what kind of team we had, I just confirmed everything I believed.
All right, so now let's go fast forward a little bit into the season to the league opener against Girard earlier on Thursday. Obviously, the league is the first goal. You've talked about that every year we've covered you. The league is the first goal to check mark. A big first step. I know a lot of people came in thinking Girard would be a team that would give you a lot of trouble. You were able to beat them by 20. Your defense was just suffocating. How big was that first game of the league to get it under your belt and realize, all, in the locker room, realize that this is still right in front of you and the goal is still right in front of you to win the NE8.
Just confirming more things like we always talk about. It doesn't matter what others say. It doesn't matter what's going on outside the locker room and who thinks what. Eventually, everything changes and everybody just wants to be the first to call it when Poland crumbles, and they want to be there and be able to look back on it and say, see, I called this back before the season started, and we've been dealing with that for several years, and kind of like that. I mean, like I said, at some point we wish we'd get some more believers, but I guess that's part of it. And the journalism side of it is you got to make the headlines and make people want to read your post and share those things, and that's what we deal with. And the girls always take note in those things. And like I said, Girard is definitely a formidable opponent. They had 6 seniors, tough matchups for us quick wise. We had some things in transition we had to work on, and we did that and gave them fits. And hopefully we could do that again the second time we play them. But no doubt they are a good basketball team, and that was a very good win for us to open up league play with.
All right, so then you go into Saturday undefeated. Salem comes in undefeated. Everyone knew this was going to be a good matchup. You look at the two teams, you just know, they both have rosters that are filled with talent. What did you see out of this game? I know it kind of was close, and then Salem made some quick shots down the stretch to make it a little bit, wide margin of victory for them. But what did you see out of this game? Obviously, first loss of the season, never easy, but you have to move forward, like you've said before.
Yeah, very good challenge. United Way game. I love the United Way game because that also brings in a lot of money for our valley. So I'm always a fan favorite of this game. I embraced the challenge, told the kids, at the end of the day, the worst thing that could happen to us is we lose a basketball game, which I've told them many times before. It's not the end of the world. Play hard, enjoy the moment, and I try to get girls basketball out there to as many people as we can. And I know a lot of people tune into the United Way, and I want to showcase girls basketball and let them know it's just good basketball. It's aggressive basketball. And every year we try to get more and more people involved. Coach Hamilton is doing a great job over there as well. And we were with them. Played right with them till the media timeout under 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. It was nip tuck back and forth, and then they just made some clutch shots down the stretch, and we weren't able to answer. But no shame in that. Kids played down to the very final seconds of the game. And like I said, we take today off, and then we go right back at it tomorrow. I mean, and we go at Niles, and we're back on the league track this week with Niles and South Range. Two big games, and then hopefully we can get back on track, which I'm sure we will, like I said. But I'm very pleased with what we did. A loss doesn't define us, and certainly going undefeated is not something that's a common thing for people to do. So we lost to a formidable opponent, but effort never ceased in our program.
We asked what you learned in the opener when the win against Fitch. Did you learn anything new with the loss? Did it expose anything that you thought that maybe, okay, we have to work on this a little bit more? Did you learn anything new from the loss to Salem?
I've got to do a better job rotating. It has nothing to do with effort or anything like that. I'm still trying to learn some rotations, toying with some different lineups and trying to find a way to get all these kids that can play on the floor, but I have to find a better way to rotate them where it's a better mixture than what I've done. So that's on me. That's nothing to do with them. And I'll work on that, and we'll continue to get better at that. But after the game, I mean, we walk in the locker room, and I've got my seniors telling the kids, hey, it's okay, pick it up. We'll be fine. Let's get our stuff back together. Keep working hard. Nice job. I mean, that's what I'm walking into my locker room listening to. So, to see that, again, just confirming what I know we can do, and that coming from the top with those seniors, very pleased. They knew not to hang their head, and we're not going to do those kind of things in here because it doesn't solve anything. So, again, very pleased with what we're doing in this program, and to be out of the gates at 4-1, I'm ecstatic with that, and we'll see what goes on in the weeks to come.
All right, so you talked about rotation. It brings up a good point because, in several of your games, you've tried to mix and match people, put people in different parts of the game with different other people on the floor. How much have you tried to kind of just see, not just where to put girls in, but who to put girls in with and where they thrive the most with who on the floor, and try to figure out kind of what lineups work well for you guys?
Yeah, it's trial and error. I don't have all the answers, obviously, and it's just you put some out there. Some lineups work, some lineups don't work. We have girls back from injuries that now I'm trying to work in as well, and sometimes I put too many girls that are inexperienced with big varsity minutes in clutch situations, put too many of them on the floor at the same time. And that kind of backfires at times too. I've got to keep some experience on the floor as well. And I know in hindsight, it's easy to say, well, no, duh, like everybody knows that. But in the heat of the moment, you're trying to get people breathers because everybody's playing so hard. We're up tempo, we're full court, we're trapping, we're all running all over the place, and different people need breaks at different times. And so when you're trying to do that, plus juggle, getting different people in to mix it up, sometimes you just realize when you put them on the floor, like, oh, too many inexperienced on the floor at the same time. They're working their butts off. They just don't have that leadership on the floor that they need. And if they do, maybe just one veteran on the floor, and that's too much to put on one person to try and calm everybody down, get everybody in the right spot, things of that sort. So still trial and error on my part. And like I said, I take total fault on that, and we'll get better at it. And as the season goes on, we'll get it figured out.
If there is a game to give them that kind of experience, Salem's a good game for that, right? Because you lose, but it's not a conference loss, so it's really almost unconsequential that you lost that game. Is it good to get those inexperienced players experience in that kind of game?
Yeah, because it's easy to make mistakes and not learn anything from them if you're up by 20, 25 points. I mean, but now when it costs you a possession and the other team cashes in on it, or we get a turnover and then we turn it over right back because we did something too fast, you know what I mean? Like, those are the types of things that I want the kids to know. Like, we get a steal, we dribble up the sideline, then they trap us on the sideline and we throw it away, or we travel, or we get a rebound and two people come flying at us and they're trapping us right underneath the hoop, and we panic and we throw it instead of pivoting, taking a dribble and getting the ball swung out to the side. Those little things that kids need to learn in the heat of the moment. And then when it affects us, you want to make sure that they know it's okay. Like, learn from it, move on. I don't want anybody getting down on themselves and thinking, oh man, I'm terrible, I stink. Because it's very quick to see kids get down on themselves and tear themselves down. And that's not what I want, because nobody's perfect by any means. Everybody's going to make mistakes. And I tell them that all the time. Just be aggressive in it, learn from it, and try not to make the same mistake 2 times in a row. Do something different to make a mistake and then learn from that.
Let's preview your upcoming schedule. You return back to the league on Monday against Niles. You have a couple of road games in a row after having 4 of your first 5 at home. Niles and South Range are on the tap this week, both on the road. Talk about Niles first. I know they've already gotten a couple of wins under their belt. They look like they're really taking the right steps for their program in the right direction.
Yeah, Coach Bull is over there now. He's been in different areas over the years that I've been coaching, and he's done a great job over there. He's continuing to make them go forward. And we always start out slow at Niles. I don't know why, but every year we've played over there, it's always been a slow start for us. So they're going to throw different defenses at us. We just got to stay within ourselves and work on, taking care of the basketball, moving the basketball around, making some shots, crashing the glass, taking care of business as best we can. Our legs, we gave them the day off today, so hopefully we can get some rest on those legs. It's been a 3-game week this week. And then obviously we play again Monday. So from Monday to Monday, we'll have 4 games in. That's a lot. So again, our depth's going to have to be a little bit better. Our rotations are going to have to be a little bit better. And those are things I'll work on today and get everything set up for tomorrow. But league game, so I'm sure both teams are going to give each other their best shot, and we'll see what happens.
And now we move on to the South Range game. Obviously, in the past, in the last couple of years, this one's been the one that the league comes down to. It's always been you and South Range 1 and 2. They're the only team that has shared the NE8 with you guys. Obviously, on the road, it's a big game. What do you think about South Range this year?
Coach Fischel always has his team ready to play. I don't care what anybody says about anything. Those kids play hard, and whenever you got kids playing hard, you have a chance. He'll have them prepared. He knows us. We know them. And again, we're on the road this week, so we got to go to their place. We're going to focus on Niles first, but then when we get to South Range, we know what's coming our way. It's going to definitely be an intense physical battle. And the other night they played Hubbard, and they were down throughout most of the game, continued to battle back, down by double digits at one point, came all the way back, ended up winning the game. Just goes to show you they can deal with adversity, so the game's not going to be over until the final horn. And we're just excited. Like I said, we love going over there playing. We always know it's a competitive atmosphere, competitive game, and we look forward to that.
All right, Coach. That would be your week, right? So, what kind of things, before we let you go, are on the goal checklist this week that you want to see from your kids, whether it be in those games, in the practice this week? What are some things on the checklist for the week on the goals stand side from your perspective?
Continue to develop and learn the game. I mean, obviously, like I said, with kids coming back from injury recently now, we're trying to fit them in, get them caught up, get them more reps, get a lot more shots. Got to work on our free throw percentage. And those are all things that I have to do a better job incorporating into the practice plans and making sure that we're more prepared for these games coming up. But other than that, the attitude, the effort, the leadership that they've provided each other, the team chemistry, it's all where it needs to be. It's only going to get better from here. And I mean every word of that. These kids have been great. And like I said, they take a lot of stress off of me by just being the people I know they can be and the teammates I know that they can be. So I'm excited for that, to see that continue to grow. And then, like I said, this week we're just going to continue to work on rotations and then just learning the game a little bit more, situation work and practice, and just continuing to rep our defensive and offensive schemes, as well as working on our shooting and free throws.
All right, Coach, good luck this week. We wish you the best of luck. You know we love covering you. This was the Coach's Corner with Nick Blanch, brought to you by WRS Wealth Advisors. We thank them for their constant support as well. Coach, have fun this week. We'll catch you again next week.
Thanks a lot, Anthony. We appreciate it.